Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Best Today podcast. I am Shantae Grant, and today we are going to talk about a word or a term that gets tossed around in our culture so easily. In fact, some wear it as a compliment or think that when they use it to describe themselves, that they're actually saying something that is noteworthy or positive or a desirable character trait or characteristic, when in fact it is not. And so I am very big on being intentional about the words that we use and understanding the meaning behind them and what you're actually saying. It's why there are episodes and where I have talked so much and taught so much about words like busy, overwhelmed, grace, these things that are far more powerful than we are allowing, and using them over our lives and ourselves and wondering why we are experiencing the negative consequences of doing so. And today is no different. Today we're going to talk about a term, a word that gets tossed around so often, and that is perfection or perfectionism or perfectionist. All of it deriving from this perfect. And we're going to talk about one aspect of it today, because it definitely goes deeper. But this is a realization that I had, that I thought if I shared it with you, what it might do for those of you who take on this word, self-identify with this word, utilize this word in connection with your life and your activity and your choices. I want to help you to understand and see a part of that I hope will help to remove this word from your vocabulary, your identification, your characteristic, the way you characterize yourself. So let's talk about it, right? We're going to talk about an important truth that I know about, or that I want you to know about perfection, perfectionism, being a perfectionist, all of those things. And like I said, I think it will help you if you've ever found yourself a self-proclaiming perfectionist, or even if you don't find yourself thinking that you're a perfectionist or having perfectionist thoughts, but you end up beating yourself up because something doesn't turn out the way you want it to, or you don't move, you don't make a decision, you don't start on something that you want to out of fear that it won't look the way you want it to or end the way that you think it should. This is for you as well. Perhaps you're not using the terms, but you're operating out of that same fear. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's start with definitions, per usual. So a quick search of the word perfection in any dictionary reveals some of the following definitions: the condition, state, or quality of being free or as free as possible from all flaws or defects; the action or process of improving something until it is faultless or as faultless as possible. And then perfectionism refers to a set of self-defeating thoughts and behaviors aimed at reaching excessively high, unrealistic goals. And lastly, a personal standard, attitude, or philosophy that demands perfection and rejects anything else. So just off the bat, how does your body respond to that? How does it feel in hearing those definitions of the words perfection, perfectionist, perfectionism? Does that feel like something that you want to live in your mind and your body? No, there's a difference between excellence and perfection. I want to be clear. I always want to make sure I speak to the one or two trolls that might make their way onto my podcast listening. We're not talking about not being excellent in the things that we do, not putting in effort. I think you all understand that, so I'm not even going to go down that lane. We're talking today about perfectionism and perfection, and utilizing the definitions that I just mentioned. And then I'm going to give you my definition for perfectionism as it relates to the important lesson I want to talk with you about today. And so for me, perfectionism is seeking what appears to be an end result that is highly desired and void of any mistakes, errors, or flaws. Okay? Seeking what appears to be an end result. So the end result appears to be what it is in reality, doesn't even matter. But seeking what appears to be an end result that is highly desired and void of any mistakes, errors, or flaws. That is perfectionism. And the whole point of this episode is I want to tell you this truth about perfectionism. And here it is. Your perfectionism is a way, it's dishonoring yourself. Perfectionism dishonors yourself. It dishonors you because it's not about the desire for something to be highly desirable in the end, void of mistakes and errors or flaws, is not about actually wanting the thing to be a specific way. It's you wanting to be perceived in a certain way. It comes back to you. It's not about the thing, right? So you may say, oh, I really had this great idea for this program I want to do, or I really want to do this thing in my home or in my life. I want to order the best today guide, right? You want to do anything, but I won't allow myself because I'm a perfectionist. Okay. Let's just pause there. Do you hear it even when I say it? There's this thing that I want to do that matters to me, but I won't because, quote unquote, I'm a perfectionist. That isn't saying anything about what you think you're saying is I want when I do that thing to be great because it's important to me, but that's not what the truth of the matter is. The truth of the matter is you want yourself to be perceived by external people, onlookers, who really probably aren't even looking at you, to think that the thing that you're doing is so great, so highly desirable, void of any mistakes and errors and flaws, quote unquote, perfect. And it's about the way you are being perceived and not about the actual thing in itself. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not that you care about doing the thing that can help you, because if you did, you get started and realize that not starting is not progressing you more than starting and realizing, oh, that's a little clunky. I talked about that in another episode where in the beginning, things are clunky. It's messy. Many times it is janky because you're figuring it out. You're trying and you're like, okay, but this is hard. It's uncomfortable, but it's maneuvering through that and understanding that you're worth the effort it takes. Then it becomes about you and the change in life and the things that you actually want to do, whether it's something you want to do externally, something you want to do for yourself. When you understand that it's going to look the way it's going to look, so you might as well just get started and get moving in the process and drop but I want people to see me do it perfectly. I want it to be perfect. I want it to be without any complications, without any discomfort, because I don't want that. We were talking about this at like 1, 2, 3 in the morning at my birthday weekend. And we were talking about, I have several friends who are teachers in different levels, high school and college. And we're talking about the problem we're seeing with so many children today is they don't want to put in effort. It really boils down to that. They think everything is supposed to be handed to them or super simple, like because they grow up in this internet world where you press a button and there it is. But that's not life. And I really want to make sure we're setting our children up to understand that, because we're seeing adults, grown people, right? I'm talking about 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s who don't want to put in the effort. And you want all these things and you're looking at other people mad at their lives, but you won't put in the effort because you think you can just press 2 buttons and then magically you're healthy, you're self-aware, without any effort. Make that make sense, okay? I'm completely off my notes, so let me go back. At Best Today, we exist to help women just like you be your best one today at a time. So each week on the podcast, we are going to highlight your stories and your voices. So let's see what's in the inbox today. Today, we have a 5-star review from Jillian. She is reviewing the How to Preview and Plan Your Months, Weeks, and Days manual. Jillian writes, the steps I needed for success. I absolutely love, all caps, this guide. I am someone who benefits from receiving detailed or step-by-step instructions when it comes to starting a new process. I was so excited to get started with the Best Today guide and the Week Today pad, but I felt a little unsure where to begin. That's mostly because of my own resistance and struggles around quote-unquote perfectionism. However, After reading through this guide, I now feel completely confident on how to utilize the Best Today guide and the Week Today pad. So grateful to have found the Best Today guide, podcast, and community. Jillian, we are so grateful for you. Here's the fun fact. This is an episode about perfectionism, and I promise you, I did not set this up. It was perfect to have this review be used for this episode because she talks about that. And I'm going to tell you, if you do not have this manual, pause me right now. Go to besttoday.co/ctone, CTONE. Get your manual right now. Over 20 pages of detail to help you learn how to preview and plan your month, your weeks, your days. Examples of every step from the month level, the week level, and the day level. But I don't even leave it at that. I answer your frequently asked questions, and what everyone is really loving, I give you actual mock-ups so you can see what it looks like lived out. So go get yours right now by going to besttoday.co/ctone. And Jillian, thank you so much for showing up for yourself time and time again, and for your 5-star review. Thank you so much, Jillian. Now, go get your manual, besttoday.co/ctone, and learn how to preview and plan your months, your weeks, and your days in a way that will truly be impactful and sustainable. besttoday.co/ctone. Okay, when you hear what I'm talking about, right? When I'm telling you that perfectionism is a way of dishonoring yourself because it's not about you, actually. It's about the way you want to be perceived. It's not about like you actually caring about a thing, effort, or the result in your own life, the meaningful part. It's not about that. It's about your perception and the way you want to be perceived. And sometimes, most of the times, let's say all the times, many times, you got to drop that because what other people think about you, first of all, isn't your business. And very rarely, I'm going to say never, has anything to do with you. It's from the perception of the onlooker because we see life as we are, right? Everyone's looking through the lens of who they are. So if I'm looking through the lens of who I am, the way I see you has nothing to do with you. Do you see that? Right? So when you hear that, what I hope this does is help you to look at it in your life, perfection in your life, and get curious enough to be honest with yourself about what it is that really matters to you. Because the truth is that imperfect humans, imperfect work, imperfect products change and save lives every single day. Imperfect results help people move forward. Imperfect results move the needle, make advancements, and help us to make things, to be in the process of perfecting things, making things better. But imperfect things can bring about peace and joy and so many other beneficial and desired things, which is why I'm not afraid to just start. This podcast started with me with like a microphone I ordered off Amazon and Googling some YouTube videos on how to get started. And that was over 5 years ago. And to this day, not one Monday has been missed in over 5 years. Now, are there some imperfect things in every episode? Absolutely. I mean, I have editors that say they make it sound great, but I don't care because I also have a slew of emails and human beings whose life have been impacted and touched by a free source, this podcast, and hundreds of other things that I've created, right? So because for me, it's not about, I want to be perceived as, oh, she had that thing that was free of errors, that didn't have a typo in it, that didn't miss a page, that didn't do this thing. Oh, I hate when that happens. We'll fix that for the next go round. But guess what? The thing with the messed up page or the typo is still out here changing lives. Okay. So because my care is about the impact, what really happens in real life, not about what someone on the outside who's doing absolutely nothing on the level that I am, what they think about it. So when those emails come through, those get funneled to the trash because that's where they belong, because trash belongs in the trash. Again, off my notes, but I really want you to understand when you are moving because you care about the end result actually having impact in your life or in the life of someone else or whatever that is, or even if you're like, I'm just trying to make a decision on what shoe to get, right? You have to, once you move past caring about other people's perceptions of what you are doing with your life, you will drop this perfection crap. Okay. So my point here is also that imperfect things get the same results that you're avoiding under the guise of perfection. Okay. So If my concern is impact, perfectionism won't hinder that. Which is why I know perfectionism isn't about the reality of the thing. It's about the perception and being so concerned about what someone else thinks, or maybe even being concerned with what you think of you because you've beat yourself up so much that you're the person, you're the critic that you're trying to please, but you can't. And that's a whole nother episode, but I'll hit rewind and listen to that one more time, because many times that might be the critic that you're trying to please, but you also know you can't. But the good news about that is you can do something about it, right? You can try something new, see that it doesn't work, try something again. I mean, think about a toddler. I use this example so often. Or a small child learning how to walk. I've never seen a child just for the first time get up, walk, and that's it. Now they know how to walk perfectly and they're walking forever and they're running. They fall down a lot and we cheer them on. We're not like, that was not a perfect attempt. Why aren't you allowing yourself to live life in that way as well? If you could be okay with the feeling of the discomfort, of the janky, of the bumpy, of the messy middle and the bumpy beginnings, I'm telling you, you could do things that you complain about wanting to do and not being able to. It's you. You can do them. You could make the changes that you keep saying you want to, but you've given yourself a long list of reasons why you won't get started. It's you. So today, before getting into anything else about taking the first step, today's aim really is just to make you aware of the truth about your perfectionism and invite you to conversate with yourself or your therapist about what's the real reason behind your desire to be perfect or for something to be quote unquote perfect. My bet that I'm willing to bet all on is that it's rooted in fear. Fear of what someone else thinks and what someone else thinks. Again, it's none of your business. Because are you interested in being and doing in a way that matters to you? Or are you interested in living your life as if you're a character in a film made for onlookers? I'm going to ask you that again. Are you interested in being and doing in a way that matters to you? Or are you interested in living your life like you're a character in a film made for the benefit of other people watching? The decision is yours. The call to action in this episode is for you to journal through, talk through why you cling to perfectionism, why you gladly tote that description, why you really refuse to move or do things that you want to do or know you need to do. It's not because you want to get it right, because you know that getting it wrong sometimes is the only way to get it right. Again, have you ever watched a child learn how to walk? It's your fear that's causing you to dishonor yourself, failing to respect the things that you want out of fear of what someone else will think about you and your efforts. But we're not doing that anymore, right? So thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I want you to take that nugget, listen to this episode again, and really do the digging to figure out how this applies to you. Share it with a friend who you know it also applies to, okay? Out of love, because we want to be on a journey to help each other, lift each other up, not bash each other down, okay? Thank you for being present with me for this week's episode of the Best Today podcast. Until next time, remember that you are capable and worthy of being your best one today at a time, and you have everything you need to have everything you want. So go on and shout it out and go get you a t-shirt that says this as you live it out. This is what my best today looks like. Go order your shirt, available online right now at besttoday.co. Bye for now. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Best Today podcast, you are going to love the Best Today guide. Our Better Than a Planner guide teaches you how to get clear on what you want, identify your self-destructive habits and behaviors, and intentionally create space to prioritize yourself every single day. Don't go the journey to being your best one today at a time without the Best Today guide. See inside its pages and order yours today at besttodayguide.com. Even better, when you order the Best Today guide, we gift you with your first month free inside of the Best Today membership. So what are you waiting for? We're giving you everything you need to trade busy for intention. Go to besttodayguide.com and order yours today and join thousands of women across the globe proclaiming each day, this is what my best today looks like.